Hold on, before I forget, what was his name? Jason. Well, probably wasn't Jason Derulo. The iRacer guy you wanted me to look up. That apparently did some bad shit. Fuck was it? Jason Jacoby. Well, that didn't work. I didn't get anything. Oh. Jason Jacoby is a monster? So what is this about? Someone just said like this is a really bad guy in the iRacing community. My dad's big into iRacing. So I was a little interested. Oh, I'll give it a chance. Let me see.
So we all know the chaos that is currently happening in this country right now and within the sport of NASCAR, and including myself. And I will get to all of that during this week, trust me. But until then, I need to go one at a time, bit by bit, and go step by step through all that is happening right now. First things first, let's expose this fucking monster. This guy's name is Jason Jacoby, a former NASCAR YouTube streamer and a former iRacer who has raced with the likes of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Chase Briscoe, and Alex LeBay in the past in certain leagues. He's an elder statesman of the iRacing community, or I guess you want to say the sim racing community, because he's been here for so long. He was known for making his famous rig that cost, I believe, almost 35 grand. But in the past couple of years, we are starting to realize who this guy really is. A complete monster. And a huge shout out to Austin from across the border for exposing this guy for who he really is as well. The link to his channel will be in the description. Anyways, let's get into it in case you forgot who this guy was.
So I don't know what's been going on with this dude over the past couple of years. For those who need a refresher course, Jason Jacoby is a former iRacing streamer who kind of rose to prominence in the community by building a $25,000 late model chassis that he then stuffed inside his man cave and would stream races from. He had a custom fire suit made for himself, featuring all of his social media accounts, as well as Domino's Pizza, which he wasn't actually sponsored by. It was just the job he worked at.
So you have a shitty minimum wage job. You do
How did he have 25 grand to blow?
To buy this big rig, and his channel only accumulated.
Does Domino's pay super well?
5,000 to 6,000 subscribers. So there is no way in hell he should be able to afford that, right? Well, here's how he did.
The amount of credit cards used to fund this rig, including cash advances.
Oh God!
Some of those to pay for it, but
no fucking way.
I can't. I'm not supposed to get into that. I told my parents I wouldn't do that, but okay. So a couple is 2, a few is 4, right in between a couple and a few.
He charged Jason out the ass for that sim rig. It was not worth what he paid for it, and
are we allowed to ask what he paid for it?
It's public. It's public news. So I mean, he paid probably it was over 30 grand.
What?
He said it on streams before. Yeah, maxed out credit cards. He said it on streams before. That's why I have no problem telling you the price of that, because he said it before. People know it. He put it out there publicly, so I will put it out there as well.
Okay, so this guy is freaking delusional.
So he's very bad with money and decisions.
He was under the impression that if he was good enough in iRacing, it would eventually warrant a ride in the Cup Series. Okay, any NASCAR fan with common sense knows that just because you're good in iRacing does not mean it will automatically warrant a Cup Series ride.
I don't know if he's going to mention this. There is a racer currently in NASCAR who literally came from being very good at iRacing, right? I forgot his name, but it's a young kid, and he was fucking nutty at iRacing. My dad was telling me about him, and I can't remember what the fuck his name was.
It is all a part of some sort of gimmicky advertising marketing stuff from iRacing, okay? It is not real, okay? Just because you are good in iRacing does not mean it'll warrant a ride. And interesting enough, Austin actually races in his spare time, and for his entire set of
William
tires
Byron?
and his
That
car,
might be it. I wouldn't recognize
combined,
his name.
It was around 16 grand. Okay, moving on to the victim in question, Mackenzie Gordon, Jason Jacoby's former girlfriend and the mother of his child. There have been a lot of people choosing sides over the years, so here's how they met.
So when I was 14 and I met him, and he had us all fooled. This guy was God sent. He was the perfect Christian man, never cursed, did not do anything wrong.
Oh.
He he was the perfect image of a man that I would want. A man that I would want in my life. He was so kind.
He's
He
so cool, dude.
always smiled. He was so happy. My mother loved him just because of how he carried himself, his persona. He was just, like I said, he was God sent. He was the perfect man. So we thought. It didn't dawn on me that I'm 17, he's 27. What is a 27-year-old man wanting to do with a young girl 10 years younger than him? That didn't dawn on me.
He was
at the time.
24 when he met her at 14?
I understand that point of view. I'm like, okay,
Jesus.
That's weird.
So when Mackenzie was 14, Jason Jacoby was 24 years old. Yeah, a 10-year difference. Nothing illegal happened in terms of, being sexual, because obviously if it did, he would have been thrown in jail. But he groomed her until she was 17 years old to ask her out. Jason Jacoby
and that still wasn't legal either.
Pedophile. I keep up with the TCAP community from time to time. I see all the signs.
You still missed it by a full year.
The very definition of grooming. A sick man. Not to mention all of the abuse that took place as the years go on. For the first few months of their relationship, she had said everything was all sunshine and roses, but then she began seeing the real him. Jason Jacoby was fake. He was putting on this fake facade, this fake personality, that this dude is all about God. He's very religious.
That's not mutually exclusive. Have you heard of the Catholic Church?
What a load of crap. In my neighborhood where I'm from, I'm
the
speaking for myself.
Manic.
If we find out a 24-year-old is talking to a 14-year-old like that, that's a wrap. We're going to put a stop to it right away. This wouldn't have gotten any further other than the initial encounter, okay? That's just the reality of it, all right? These people are dangerous.
iRacing is a
Pedophiles
racing simulator.
Are dangerous. They bring no value to society.
A really thorough racing simulator.
They only ruin victims' lives.
There's some down bad Wumpus in details.
Children's lives being ruined every day in this country and throughout the world by none other than pedophiles like Jason Jacoby. And what's bad about this is this girl seemed to have a normal life beforehand. If you want to hear the full interview, the link is down in the description below. It's 54 minutes long. Again, I'm only touching on a few topics on this.
Is this real life footage or a video game? This is real life.
Both the links in the description below. Watch the initial
iRacing's
video
graphics aren't that crazy.
And also Austin's 54-minute interview with Mackenzie. This whole thing is nuts. And lastly, what I'm about to touch up on gets much worse. This guy is not only a master manipulator, a pedophile, a creep, but overall is just exhibiting just extreme levels of bad behavior, just toxic behavior that shouldn't be put up in this society. Here's what I'm talking about.
Now let's get into the really heavy stuff. This girl claims that she has proof of him sending underage girls pictures of his dick, which is realistically a felony, and he's probably going to go to jail for this at some point.
Holy shit.
There is chatter that he supposedly tried to scam the Lombard Bros who received some sort of settlement from their dad passing away. He supposedly tried to scam them out of 10 grand.
God damn.
That he would jack off at Domino's Pizza while they're on the clock.
What?
There are multiple felonies here.
That's like the least surprising thing I've heard about Domino's, to be honest.
His reputation, I better not ruin his online image. He would kill me, essentially, if I ever did anything to compromise the perfect nice guy picture he had. It was when we finally broke things up and he hospitalized me with a brain injury that switch in my head flipped. Like, oh shit, I've got to get out of this or else I'm going to end up dead. He threw me into a metal headrest on a racing seat and knocked me out, gave me a concussion. I ended up in the hospital because I couldn't see. My head was severely hurting, and it almost killed me. And he did this all in front of our son. And at that point, I'm like, oh shit, I have to get out of here. He's going to kill me. And sometimes that's when I think that there is something mentally wrong, because there's one time he looked at me as he let Carson fall off the bed. I told him, watch Carson, I have to go to the bathroom. Do not let him fall off the bed. He was like 3 months old. And I hear
appreciate
big
the generosity,
thud
man. Thank you,
and
stop
some
suicide.
screaming, and I come in there and I'm like, how could you do this? How could you let him fall off the bed? And this man looked me dead in the eyes and he said, I'm autistic, remember? I'm not a good dad, remember? I'm a really bad dad, remember? What? I'm autistic. I'm not supposed to be a dad. And that was the craziest shit that man has ever said to me. He looked me dead in the eyes and was so serious.
This type of crap went on for years, man. Years.
What?
Okay? I had heard rumors about this guy, but not like this, okay? I had heard this guy was a creep. I had heard this guy, yes, had dated his baby mama at a very young age. And yes, that was true.
Lonely?
But I had no clue. None of us had any clue that this type of behavior and this type of abuse was going on. Mackenzie Gordon, I am so sorry from the bottom of my heart that I personally could have not done anything. If I would have found out 2 years ago that this man was doing all this stuff to you, man, we would have put a stop to it right then and there. But you know what?
What do you mean?
I'm trying to make up for it the best way I can by exposing this monster.
Were you gonna go to the house in person
I've
and
already contacted
like beat
the
him up?
Athens
Like there
Police
wasn't a whole lot you could
Department, and
do.
they are fully aware of this scumbag's actions, and hundreds of people on the internet have called as well. If you have had any encounters with this monster, whether on the internet or in person, that were inappropriate, either physically or sexually, please call the numbers in the first video of the description below. Anyways, that'll do it for this video. Y'all stay safe, stay positive, and I will have a video on other topics, the obvious topics, later this week. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch it.
That was a pretty wild story and a really weird ending. Let me see, resub Angus.